That Rehan has joined myself, Nasser and Atherton. Before we congratulate you, well, congratulations on your 4 wickets, but before we talk about that, what about the state of the game? I mean, it's accelerated and it's pretty much accelerated past England a bit today.
Yeah, I mean, the momentum's obviously with them. We're going to hold back from still saying we can still win this game. We still can, and I think we've got a lot of batting to come throughout. Everyone can bat in our team. So obviously it's not nice having 3 down now, but I don't think that obviously changes a little bit, but not too much for us.
How do you bat then on this pitch? What is the key?
I think everyone has their own way. I think whatever your way is, I think we just have to be clear with it and stick to it. So yeah, I mean that could change ball by ball or by different session, but in different ways. So just have to adapt as quickly as possible. How
frustrating was it that the lower order really putting you under pressure? And what could you have done maybe differently? There were a lot of singles offered.
Yeah, a little bit. I think there's nothing. I think No Man and Sajid did bat well. I think the ball got softer. There wasn't as much off the pitch. But once obviously Sajid come in and he had a few sixes, they got momentum again. But I think as a spin group we tried to hold it as much as we could. I think Saud batted very well. There's nothing to wait. There's no shame about him batting very well. I think he batted very well. So yeah, I mean I think we did what we could. And now yeah, just looking forward to tomorrow.
You mentioned that Saud batted very well. Does that give you a little bit of hope for tomorrow that actually if you stick around on this pitch and the ball goes a little bit older, you know, there are runs to be had? And have you taken any lessons from the way he played? And I know everybody will play in their different ways, but will you take any lessons from the way he played into tomorrow?
I think obviously Saud has his had his method, and he stuck to it. I think everyone's method will be different. There was a chance earlier on with Saud as well, so it's like on this type of pitch there will be a ball on your name, so it's about trying to get the runs more importantly than actually just trying to stay there, I think. But yeah, Saud batted beautifully.
On that chance, we're not wicket keepers, none of us are, but on a scale of 1 to 10, how difficult?
I thought that was very difficult. There was a big deflection. He was going down leg side as well, so it wasn't really a drop catch, but I think it was a very tough chance.
You found some lovely rhythm just before the lunch break. What worked for you? The pace, the length, or all of the above?
I think I tried to keep it very, very simple. Obviously Stokes kept telling me, keep it simple. We had a spread out field. We just hit the stumps as much as possible. The variable bounce helped me a little bit, and yeah, try to get a bit more side spin on the pitch. From my wrist and stuff. So no, I felt in good rhythm, and so did Bash and Leachy. They looked like they bowled very well as well. So I think it was a good bowling by all the spinners. And
we were surprised that you didn't start directly after lunch. Was there a conversation with the captain? And when you did come on to bowl, it wasn't at the same end that you had success in the morning session?
Yeah, to be fair, I actually wanted this end more because I did all my overs practicing this end. Obviously not, I didn't tell Stokesy I want this end, but I guess you just get on with it. I think it was Gus came into bowl and he got a wicket at the end for us anyway. He could have easily got a wicket there, and so could have Bash. So I mean, yeah, it would be nice to bowl more overs, but what can I say?
And what about the challenge of just coming into a test match quite cold, the last test of a series, you haven't played the first 2, and also not always getting masses of bowling in England because of the way the conditions are? What about the challenges of that?
It was a little bit challenging, but at the end of the day, I think I just enjoyed every single minute, and that's what helped me a lot. I think I missed playing for England. I haven't played much since India, so I haven't played at all since India. So I think I enjoyed every single moment, so that made it very, very easy for me.
We spoke about batters maybe learning from opposition batters. What about you learning from opposition? Not just you, but as a 3-spin attack from their spinners, or do you think this is what I do and I've got to stick to my basics, or can you see the way they vary their pace and the way they bowl and their lengths on here?
Yeah, 100%. We as a spin group talk about it all the time. I think No Man obviously got so much experience, so like the way he changes his pace, the fuller he goes, the quicker, and I think even with Sajid. So yeah, we try to take as many learnings as we can. It's a bit hard during the game because you don't really want to change and try something in such a high pressure game. So, but yeah, we do take notes, if that makes sense, and try and practice that.
Just finally, England obviously 3 down, 53 behind, but the mood from the camp is right. We're going to keep going and try and win this.
100%, yeah, never in doubt. I think we are 3 down, but that doesn't take much away from us. Obviously, it's not nice having 3 down, but yeah, just being as positive as we can, and yeah, come back tomorrow.
Well, you'll have to go some tomorrow, but well bowled to you. Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you very much.
Cheers.
Well done. Well done.
Cheers, Ray.
A game that has moved forward at a quite dramatic pace when you think of how confident they would have been after he'd bowled so well up to the lunch break, and now look at where we are at stumps on day 2.
Yeah, and that's why I asked that last question there, really. And it's not a like-for-like comparison, because new ball, old ball, England towards the end were bowling with an old ball. It wasn't doing that much. And the new ball and that little passage, you know, it was supposed to be 14 overs. It didn't end up that because of the light. They are always, as Ath will tell you as an opening bat, they are always tricky passages of play. But I love the way their 2 spinners go about it. Sajid Khan firing it in. And Noman Ali, you are a product of your environment. And generally, you play on flat pitches in Pakistan, so you have to deceive batters in the flight. And if you think of the way he's got Crawley out on a number of occasions, he's got Crawley, what now, 4 times? Twice in both Test matches. He's bowled beautifully. Sajid Khan firing it in at a quicker pace because that's what suits him. But for me, the ball that got Ollie Pope out summed out how wonderful they've been. That's 4 in 4 now, Norman, against Zach Crawley. He played for the spin. He's been done on the outside edge a few times, and with a new ball, it just has to skid on. And this was the bit of bowling I loved, and it's something that Jack Leach can learn. Leach been brought up playing at Somerset, playing on a pitch that does turn. He will fire it in at a regular pace all the time, whereas this lad, who's brought up on flatter Pakistan pitches generally, he has to deceive him in the air. And he's completely done Pope there. He's dropped him on, and he's gone forward, and the ball is 2 yards short, and that's why it's bounced and ripped a glove off. So that was a beautiful bit of bowling.
But your opinion with Pope is he's complicit in his own downfall, because we were watching up there, and there was definitely, from side on, his thumb is actually sort of at his knee roll.
It's a consequence of both. It's a consequence of being deceived in the air. The point of a spinner is to beat a batter both in the air and off the pitch. And as a batter, you've got to try and read the length and smother the ball if you're coming forward. Now, Pope has been deceived or misread the length, whichever way you want to put it. But the point is then that he's stretching for the ball. He's not there, so he's stretching. He's been beaten, and then there's a bit of bounce because of the new ball, and he's very low because he's been beaten in the air by the bowler. So it's a lovely bit of bowling. You'd like to think that a batter can kind of see that as well, though. You know, of course, a bowler can deceive you. Bowlers are allowed to do that, but also it's within you to try and sense that it's slightly, you're not quite there, and you can dance and play it off the back foot.
I think that's the key. I think with Sajid Khan, you're thinking, don't go back. Think of how he got Joe Root in the first innings. Don't go back, because he's a bit quicker and he does you on length. With Noman Ali, you're thinking, don't lunge forward. You can come off that back foot, off that front foot, and play off the back foot and open up the offside. Obviously, in the back of your mind, you've got balls that are keeping low, but he's doing that, and the other lad, Sajid, is doing that, and it's a good combination.
I don't think Root would have got out like that. I mean, Root is obviously England's best player and best player of spin, and so you're comparing a Pope who's not quite as good a player as Root with England's best. But I think Root would have kind of been slightly quicker and dancier on his feet and not been deceived by the length.
The reason why Pakistan have been able to put England under so much pressure this evening and take those 3 wickets is because they got that little lead of 77. Doesn't sound a lot, but in these games, well, in these games you never know. What about from England's point of view, before we come on to Saud and the hitting of Sajid? Over 100 singles were given at various points from Saud when he was batting with whoever. Ben Stokes, uncharacteristically, in my opinion, from the way we've seen him captain before, has catches in, and he did have catches in, but there was a lot of gaps, which is not normally the way he goes. He is normally saying, if you want to hit me down and over long on, take the risk, don't just knock it. Do you think he missed a trick there?
I think he did. I think probably because he felt, if you listen to Jamie Smith yesterday, if you listen to the hype about the pitch, it was a really difficult pitch to bat on, and there's only certain shots you can play on it, and it could be a low-scoring thriller. I said that myself, and it's going to be hard work. So he and England got into their mind, I think, that we'll have our catches and we've got to stop the boundaries. And if they get the odd 1 or 2, they're not getting away from us. Eventually, there's a ball with your name on it. What surprised me was not having the men out. He's done that on a number of occasions. Occasionally, he'd bring them up. So when Saud Shakil is knocking it for ones, he'd bring them up 20. 10. He'd play with them so many on this ground. I've seen him play with that mid-off and mid-on, square leg, sweep man, bring him up 10 and tempt a batter to hit over the top. He didn't do that today, and fair play to Saud Shakil. He said, if you're going to offer me runs on here, freebie runs, I'm just going to take them. And he kept taking them.
4 boundaries in his 100, one in front of square, I think.
Yeah, but again, a lesson you can always learn in the game of cricket. So he is playing with such soft hands. You know, what does Kumar Sangakkara say? Play straight, defend straight, score square. And that was what Saud was doing, defending straight, scoring square. Whereas England are very jabby, even Crawley, they playing out in front, trying to hit hard with hard hands. Give Saud Shakil some credit as well, I mean, to knock it into gaps.
He played a fantastic innings there. I think all along we've been saying there's runs to be had on this surface, but they're not easy runs, and you've got to be very clear in your thinking and your strategy about how you're going to play, where you're going to score, the shots you're going to try and play. He got that one life on 26, but after that he did not give another chance. He was excellent in defence, playing forward. You see that full face all the time, nice and soft, as Nasser said. And then he's got all the options, but he chooses them wisely. He can sweep the ball, but he didn't play it that much. And he knocked it around when the gaps were there to be had. That's a beautiful example of what Nasser's talking about, that kind of slightly soft hands and manoeuvring the ball through the gap. Beautiful innings, I thought, today from him.
And it's another lesson in there's no pitch where you just say, I can't play that shot. You don't play that shot. So like yesterday we were stood here going, don't play the sweep on here. What it is when you first go in, don't play certain shots. So when you first go in and you're not sure about the length and the height of the bounce, get used to it. And then Saud Shakil didn't sweep for a long time, and it is one of his shots. He just played, got on the front foot. When you get in and you're seeing it like a football and you're reading the bounce, then you can sweep. Then you can play off the back foot, even if it's bouncing ankle high, go back, because you're seeing it so well. It is that first 20 minutes, half an hour in the subcontinent. Look at England tonight. And again, that's a bonus for Pakistan, because tomorrow, again, they're going to have to start again. It's that first 20 minutes where you're not picking up length, not picking up bounce. That's when certain shots are dangerous.
Just being told we're going to be making up time tomorrow. We're going to start a little earlier, 9:43 local time. So we'll be underway with our coverage at about 5:30 as we build up to that earlier start. We obviously can't make up time in the evening, because once the umpires have decided that the light was not good enough, the sun goes down. So that, did they pull the pin a bit early though?
Well, it surprised us all. We came running down those stairs in a complete panic, because I don't think anybody thought they were going to come off. I think England were very thankful to come off at that point. They were right under the pump. It was a very difficult last few overs for them. I thought the wicket at Duckett was the real blow. I wasn't confident Crawley was going to survive. Pope's, having a bit of a horror trot on this tour, but Duckett is such an important player, good player of spin. That was a bad blow for England tonight. And now, they're two main men really, Root and Brook at the crease, so that they'll need a good start tomorrow. They're in a deep hole.
One thing I'll ask both of you actually: a repetitive nature of England against the tail. It's not just today, it's not just this series, but in the last 2 or 3 years, England have struggled to get through tail enders. Explain why.
Well, they've struggled. I think England feel in the past they've struggled because of the lack of pace. When there was a game in India, in Ranchi, when they couldn't get through India's tail, and I think they felt that they didn't have enough kind of weapons. And that's why they've been trying to get pace bowlers together. Now, of course, it's very different here. In these conditions, you're not going to blast anybody out. And I actually just think that Noman and Sajid have been a fantastic addition to Pakistan's team, not just with the ball, obviously, which is the principal thing, but the way Sajid played tonight with the bat was fantastic, wasn't he? We talked about it. It's kind of heart and passion and head. He just didn't get carried away with it. And they put on, in Multan, in the second innings, they put on 100, over both innings of that second test match, they put on 178 runs, Pakistan. And those two spinners have been absolutely the key to Pakistan's revival. I thought they were fantastic.
One other thing might have been that Stokes could have bowled. He said coming into the game that he was fit to fulfil the second seamer's role. He could have come in and gone a little bit of chin music for a while.
Yeah, all I'd say...
What would you say?
Well, I'd very rarely disagree with Ath, but I will on this occasion, because I think even when they've had pace, I think they've slightly lost the plot and gone just for a bouncer ploy. I'm not talking about here in these conditions, but when they've had Wood, sometimes they'll bowl beautifully to the top order, top of off, nick off, bowl really well. Tailenders will come in, bouncer straight away, and they'll get hit everywhere, and they do lose the plot a little bit. And it may be even just Stokes Stokes maybe puts so much energy into his captaincy, into the week of captaincy. He gets to 7-8 down, and that's where he just may need a little bit of help. There's not many senior bowlers around in this side. He may just need someone to drag him to one side and say, you know what, after tea, why are we playing our wrist spinner here? Because I think he'll get through the... I was amazed that Rehan didn't start after tea. A wrist spinner who just got up, sorry, after lunch. He just got 3 for before lunch. No man alley. Maybe because he belted 1 over mid-on for 4, I would have gone with the wrist spinner to the lower order.
Right, finally, looking ahead to tomorrow. I mean, Pakistan hold all the cards at the minute. We don't know what the pitch is going to do. I'm bored of talking about the pitch. We'll just have to see how it plays out. But we just heard from Rehan, as you'd expect, coming out of the dressing room led by McCullum and Stokes. Yeah, we can still win this. Well, can they?
Yeah, of course. They're not out of the game. They're Pakistan hold all the cards. Pakistan in a very strong position. England in a hole, but you can't just come out on the start of the 3rd day and think, well, we've got no chance of winning this game. So in any situation, you've got to think, well, how can we get ourselves into a position to win this game? And the way they can do that is these 2 lads who put on 420 something or other in the first test match of this series, get their heads down, get through the new ball, get that ball old and soft, and then bat. As Saud Shakil showed, you can bat on this surface. There's runs to be had.
They will need those runs because they are 53 behind, 3 down in their 2nd innings.